Greetings, 𝐂𝐎𝐍𝐶 family members. Thank you so much for coming on board. I'm realizing how much I love talking, how much I love to share the little bit that I know out of the life that I have lived. Today, we continue with focusing on raising children, but today we're focusing on age 6 to age 13. Thank you so much for those of you who are sending me these requests in our comment section. That's why it's important for us to comment, to share ideas, so that we develop these things. We discuss things that are important to us. Okay, I don't want to waste time because this is a bit long. Children require, key areas of development from age 6 to age 13. And these key areas of development includes developing in their mind, growing in their mind, their perception, they are able to grow and mature spiritually, and they are able to grow and mature mentally, intellectually. Very important. They should also grow and develop physically. A child, when they are born, they might be 51 centimeters. They should not be 51 centimeters tall by the time they are 6. They could be a meter plus centimeters by the time they start grade 1. Very, very important. So all this development that I'm talking about happens in this age range, 6 to 13. It's very important. They must also grow emotionally. They have to be able to begin to be in touch with their emotions and to be able to actually express how they are feeling. And they must be able to relationally to develop, to be able to play with other children, not bullying them, but relating with children well, to be able to solve their own little problems on their own age specific, but very, very important. So keys that are necessary, therefore, is when for emotional development, key number 1 for emotional development, you have to give your children support. You have to be available to give children support by creating safe, a space for them to express their emotions and their concerns. A child should be able to tell you, Mama, I'm sad. Mama, I'm anxious. Mama, I'm afraid. Mama, I'm very happy. They should be able to and you know that when they are happy, they indeed are happy. When they are sad, you want to know, why are you sad? They might then tell you that, Mama, I'm not feeling well. Oh, I had this experience. Pay attention to your child at this age. And important is to train them to be able to express exactly how they are feeling. And then also listen to them without judging them. Don't quickly say, why are you sad? You're such a little child. How can you be sad? They are sad. That's how they are feeling. And you should be able to give support accordingly and validate their feeling. Oh, I'm so sorry, my baby. Did you say you're sad? And they say, yes, Mama, I'm sad. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. How exactly are you feeling? If they're able to describe it in an age-related way, understand them. They are your children. And also help them develop emotional vocabulary. Like when they are happy, they should know that I'm happy. When they are not happy, they should be able to tell you that, Mama, I'm okay. Or sometimes they'll tell you, Mama, I'm sad. They'll tell you, I'm afraid, I'm anxious, or I'm feeling overwhelmed. They should be able to describe that. You teach them, you train them to do it. We grew up without knowing that there's something called emotion. And the only thing that we knew was I'm very happy and I'm sad. But other, happy words, other sad words, we didn't even know. You can develop your child to be able to express, their emotions precisely. Also, maintain consistent routines by enabling yourself to be flexible so that your life revolves around your family, not your family revolving around your life as a parent. No, your life your life, my individual life must revolve around my family. I allow such flexibility around my family, then I'll be able to be available to them. But sometimes life is the opposite. My family, children, spouse, they revolve around me. No, that's not the healthy way of relating as a family person. As a family person, family is priority, and you organize life around your family. That's when you value family. It's very important. Along those things, the next key is the key where you set boundaries and the keys for discipline. They are very important. You can't just let children be who they want to be. they have to be guided. And one of those critical aspects to provide that guidance is enacting disciplines that are communicated, that are set, that are clear, that are understood, and that are age appropriate. That this is how far we come in this family, we don't do this. One of the things that we enacted, Isusu, was kuti we don't use foul language. Both husband and wife and the children and those workers that were in the vicinity of our children, we do not use foul language. And it was tested when our last one was, I think in grade 1 or thereabouts. She had been picked from school by a driver. When I got home, I don't know whether when I arrived on my own or the both of us arrived at home, the child told us that, I don't want uncle to pick me up. He uses foul language. How did she know? Because he had been taught. And we didn't care what he said or what he didn't say, this driver. That was the last day we allowed any person to pick our children, unless if it is somebody that we really, really trust. Other than that, throughout their school life, we picked our children, particularly the girl. Very, very important. Our son, there was a family whose values we agreed with, not same values, but similar values. And we worked throughout the upbringing of our children, sharing, transporting our children to and from school. Hey, Auntie Audrey, how are you? How are you? It worked for us. Guys, don't just leave your children at the mercy of any and everyone. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. And when enforcing boundaries, for example, a child has gone over, when enforcing a boundary, you have to be calm. Don't, be furious and, fits of rage over a child. It will damage that child emotionally. It will damage them mentally. You have to be calm as a parent. You are the parent. You are not peers with this child, and behave as such. It's very, very important. And then you have to be consistent with those rules. Don't enforce a rule today, tomorrow you don't enforce. You confuse a child. They will not know acceptable behavior. So you have to be consistent with the rules. Whatever you say, this is what happens. When you break a rule, that is what should happen. Very important. And then every child, you have to raise them in the context of what you believe in. Don't just go and borrow, everything foreign into your family. Because the parents, you may not be conversant with the culture that you are trying to import into your lives, for the benefit of parenting your children. For example, the first world, the Western world in particular, there is the ways that they raise their children that are very different from how we raise our children here in Africa, and in particular Zimbabwe. I can only speak, confidently about Zimbabwe. There are things that are definitely different in how we raise our children. What is different is the culture, but the child is similar, whether they are a child here in Zimbabwe, they are a child in the Western world. But what we must know as parents is, what do we want to see out? What is the product that we want to produce out of our child? And that is what should guide us when we are raising our children. It has to be ways that are consistent with us, our beliefs, our culture, and our traditions. Very important. The next very, very important key is academic and learning. These require support. So much support. When we were raising our children, we learned something. I don't know if it's a term that exists in that world, but for us, we found out that our children are different. And in their difference, we realized that when we sent our son to the school that he went to, his personality, his character, his capabilities, academic capabilities, matched the school that he attended, and he thrived in that school. So it was parents, child, school, teacher mix. I might not be able to repeat it nicely, but it's parent, you, the parents, your child, the school of your choice, and the teacher of that child. They have to be aligned for a child to perform to their maximum. Don't just take a child to a school whose culture you can't match up, or that will destroy. I remember a brilliant, a wise young family would send their son to a boarding school, renowned boarding school in Harare today. And they felt the way they had raised up their son, even though they had really desired the results that this school was producing, the culture in that school was not consistent with how they'd raised their boy. They transferred that young man because it can destroy a child. Where the culture, your family, home culture, and the culture at school, they clash so bad that it can damage a child. You have to think again. What are you doing? You send your child to these extreme private schools, which some of the children, I remember one of our boarding schools here in Zimbabwe, children would fly to school, you know. They would fly from Harare to a different city and then be picked up to go to school. If you can afford to do it, all and good. But if you can't afford to do it, imagine a child, they are the only one who come to school on a bus for 400 kilometers, maybe even more than 400 kilometers to get to the school. And the majority of other children are flying to school. Don't do that to your child. It's not necessary. Look for an appropriate school near you. Give the requisite support as parents. Ensure that culture in that school is consistent with you, and children will perform. There are schools near Harare here that are reasonably priced, that produce excellent results from their children. In my opinion, I would rather have my child in that school than stress the family, the child, and everybody, because you just want to be like the Jones with your children. Very, very important. And, you know, ensure that you support all their natural curiosities. That's how you pick areas of interest in a child. If they are interested in, you know, pulling apart, you know, small toys and putting it together, you can see that this is the mind of probably an engineer, probably, you know, a mathematician, probably this and that, and you build a child around that. At the end of this conversation, I'll put a reference to books that really, really helped us as we're raising our children. I showed you the other one, the prayer of the power of a praying parent. There's another book that we used, which is Your Child Can Be a Genius. I'll put the references here. And there's another book. There are 3 books. I think the prayers or something. I'll just go into online and put links. Guys, read those books. They are important. Particularly the one that says Your Child Can Be a Genius. Indeed, believe your child can be a genius. When you go through it, you will see that you can support your child to the point they become the best of themselves. And that's my definition of genius here. When a child attains to the best of themselves, they are my genius. Maybe not geniuses according to the world standards, but according to us, they have become a genius. Very important. And then they also must grow social in their social skills and relationships. This is very, very important. I learned this from an elderly teacher when our daughter was starting school. You know, we call it grade 0. Then I think now it's called ECD, early childhood development. There's A and B. And what this woman told me really, really helped me, because her nursery school had written a letter to say this child must skip grade 0, ECDB, and go straight into grade 1. When I presented the letter to the school, obviously proudly as a mother, the teacher of the ECDB class, the grade 0 class, requested to have a meeting with me. And when I sat in there, I learned a lesson that I really, really cherish to this day. And you know, as a parent, I'd already learned this lesson before, you know. Shout out to you, Sis VG. She had taught us when we were raising our first son to say, don't be in a hurry to send your child at the age of 5. Allow them to grow and mature. They are intelligent. They will be successful in primary school, 0 to 13. But later on in life, particularly around Form 5, Form 6, which is A-level, and university, they will crash. They will crash. And so I had followed that. But when our daughter had gotten this letter, I totally forgot that, and I was jumping onto doing this. And this woman said, no, let's allow your child, because academically she's way ahead, but socially she's lagging behind, and this gap can produce a crisis behaviorally in a child. You want to reduce this gap so that they are holistic and that they will cope, academically as well as coping at life. And sometimes it can happen in reverse, where socially a child is way ahead, fully developed, but academically they are lagging behind. Also, you need to support them academically so that you reduce this gap, and also they develop to be a holistic, a well-rounded child. And when that teacher told me that, I remembered, prior wisdom, and we allowed for that child to do, to take her ECDB year, a whole year in that class. What we didn't realize was, later on in life, when this child was in university, that crisis really dawned on us. But God corrected that. Other children, it might happen even after high school, like it happened with my daughter. They will have a crisis. They are still intelligent. They have those straight A results even at university, but socially they lagged behind. And deal with this gap, deal with this gap. It's necessary that it be dealt with so that it's brought as close to the two as possible, and a child's life is balanced. Guys, this is important. We are seeing our children who are coming from heavy-duty academic schools crash at life, crash seriously at life. We need to help them to develop, to grow, and they will be happy and well-rounded. The other aspect is physical health and their well-being as children. I remember somebody telling me a story of how, as a little girl, they used to have, some symptoms of, problems in their tummy. The parents would always ignore. They would always tell them to be strong. That thing didn't go away until they are a fully grown adult. They are still struggling with those. And they can trace back that this problem I had from since when I was a child. It was only diagnosed later. And they were told that they have suffered repeated pancreatitis. Up to that time, there was no attention paid to whatever they were telling their parents. Guys, it is important to ensure that our children are healthy physically, are healthy emotionally, mentally, they are healthy spiritually, they are healthy all round. Very, very important. Remember the book that I showed you, the child's card that I showed you. After 5 years, there is no more card. But you as a parent, you can see that your child needs attention and continue to ensure that they are attended to. This other key that is important, at this age, 6 to 13, begin to build independence in the life's child. We started off around 0 to 5. Now we are continuing. Child should be able to attend to their needs from a point of being responsible and understand what are responsibilities and what are privileges. Don't confuse them. It is important for a child to learn to do their homework. It is important for them to know how to bath themselves. It is important for them to eat. Don't take it as a joke when a child doesn't want to sit down to eat and you're going around, you're running 2 kilometers following a child with food. No, you don't do that. Allow them to feel hungry. When they are hungry, they will eat. And don't give these preferences. They don't want this, you give them that option. They don't want that option, you give them option number 3. They don't want that option, you go back to option number 1. You are supporting a way of behavior that entitles them to what they want. I want this, no. You give them on need basis. You need multivitamins in your body. You need vegetables. You need to eat protein. You are the mother who knows that this a child needs. Don't work around them with their wants. Don't promote that, because we don't want to raise spoiled brats. We want to raise children that are respectful and allow children to sleep, adequate sleeping. You find other children 10 p.m. they are climbing chairs, they are all over the place. If it is a condition, you know, that they have which is causing them to do that, seek medical help. If it is a normal child who's just not been trained to sleep, children can be trained to sleep. I don't know if I mentioned in the age 0 to 5. You know, shout out to Dr. Maureen Mkandla. She's an educational psychologist. She taught me and asked those who were there, train your children to sleep. And we did, and they slept. Children can sleep soundly, and it's good for their growth, for their development, and it's good for them physically. They will wake up refreshed for the next day. All those things are important. And then ensure that they are seen by doctors or nurses as and when they need that attention. The next key is family time and communication. Guys, this is important. And some of it, guys, it's not even anything very expensive that we are talking about here. You can play ball with your children, and that forms part of their upbringing. When they are older, they will tell their friends that, oh, when I grew up, we used to play ball, we used to climb trees, we used to do this, we used to do that with my parents. We used to go fishing. All these things are important for quality time as a family. And because you are together, you are bound to communicate. You are bound to talk. You know, walls will come down in those times, and children express what they need. Parents will be able to respond appropriately because you are ensuring that your quality time is made use of. Part of quality time is sitting down to eat together. I always cherished our times of eating together with our families. Someone reminded me in another, I think it's the one we talked about, adults, you know, parenting adult children, reminded me that celebrate, this is the age to celebrate any and everything about your child. They come back home with a merit badge from school. It's time to celebrate. And what does celebrating look like? On your way home, go by the ice cream shop and tell the child, we're celebrating your merit badge. Here is an ice cream. If it is something a little bigger according to you, make a special meal. My children knew when they have done something special, and we celebrate effort before the results. Do not wait for a child's result to celebrate. When they are writing examinations and they have finished their tests, they come home, we come home and we make a special meal. In our household, the special meal meant rice, chicken, and coleslaw salad. Hey, Zimbabwe, I see you, you see me. Special to us. May not be special to anybody else, but it's special to us. And it's important that a child knows. I remember very well when my son was at university first year, when they had done his first semester, end of semester exams. When he was telling me that day later, he was talking as they were coming out of the exam room on the final exam. He was telling his friends that, you know what, I suspect my mother is going to phone me. And they were like, why? He says, because if we were home, today was going to be a special day. She was going to prepare a special meal for us. And in 10 minutes, you know, after finishing the exam, I called him. And I remember him telling me on the phone that, Mama, I was telling these guys that you were going to phone because if it was at home, you were going to prepare a special meal to celebrate. Just the mere fact that you entered every exam, you finished every exam, we are celebrating that. What do you do if you wait to celebrate results and every time your child is failing with those results? Are you never going to celebrate your child? Me, I took care of that. I will celebrate effort. At the end of writing exams, I will celebrate results when they come. If they are not very the way that I would desire for them, I'll still celebrate those results. Because I know there are some people who may not even have similar results to the ones that my child would have gotten. Celebrate your child. The world will not celebrate them. You must celebrate. You must also celebrate your spouse. You must also celebrate, you know, any and everything that happens around you. I'm a sucker for celebration. I will celebrate at any cause. I will celebrate because no one is going to feel obligated to celebrate you. It's important for me. This key. The next one, safety and protection. Very, very important. Teach both safety and appropriate boundaries. There's nothing like, me, I'm embarrassed, I can't talk about sex. You have to pray to God. God, make me strong so that I can engage this conversation with my children. It's important to talk about, safety, around body safety. Tell them no one should touch your body. If anyone does this, tell me. Tell the teachers. Tell the next person around you. And don't question them. When a child tells you, I've been molested, you say, no, but uncle can't molest you. Who are you to know that uncle can't molest you? Because they are your brother? They are your... No. Believe your child. Let them be proven wrong after you have taken steps to protect them. And even if they are wrong, still support them. Because the world around us, guys, is up to ensure that our children are violated. And unless we come together and agree and take a stance and educate our children on body safety and appropriate boundaries in that area, our children will always be molested and will never know. Also monitor their behavior, your child's behavior online, because some of the molestation is happening through their eyes online. And we have had children that have been coerced into attempting suicide online. So manage those things. They are very important. And teach internet safety. One of the things we did with our children, we only gave them cell phones, access to their own cell phones at the age of 15. Before that, they would use the parents' cell phones. They had access to laptops only when we were around them. At that time, there were not many apps that we could use to safeguard our children. Please don't take it for granted. Use those apps. They are good for your children. And then this is when you share the family values. You begin to teach them that in this family, we value family. In this family, we value hard work. In this family, we value honesty. And you go on with the things that you value. I had a phrase from our children when they have done something and they haven't owned up to it. I'll just look at them and I'll tell them the truth. Nothing else but the truth. Because in this family, we value truth. And they know it. And they know if they tell me the truth, there is forgiveness that comes with telling the truth. If they lie, it is met with discipline. And if, depending on the gravity of the lie, it can be met with punishment. Very important. But you yourself must know those values. Very important. And then also you must know your children's friends. You must know the families to where they are coming from. You must ensure that you allow your children to be in safe spaces, safe mental spaces, safe behavioral spaces, safe emotional spaces, safe spaces. And families must not necessarily have same values as you, but they have to be similar. They have to be something that you can identify with. Otherwise, if you just send your children for play dates, you send them overnight, you don't know what happens in some of these families. Very important. And ensure that at this age range, 6 to 7, your children masters your phone numbers, emergency phone numbers, and other people that are close to you, their phone numbers. They must know them. In case of emergency, they need to know that. Very important. The final key that I want to give you is the window of opportunity for salvation. Guys, this is important. This is so important. We wait until a child is going to university. Now we're sitting them and we're lecturing them. You have to go to church. You have to read your Bible. From where now? It should have been inculcated into their everyday pattern of life from when they are 4, 5 years old up to this age of 14. This is where the majority of salvation happens, dearly beloved. Kitchen sink family members, I could even stand up on a mountain. Do not allow your child to pass this age before they have made a choice for Jesus. Do not allow that. Make sure they participate in children's ministry in your church. Make sure if there are Bible clubs in your community, they participate. Make sure as a family you value devotional times. Make sure as a family Jesus is attractive in your household. He's not this foreign entity who is far removed from us. No. He is this loving Father who's with us all the time, and point to him as such. Ensure all your children are saved in this window. It's too broad a window, but window it is. From when they are 4 years old to when they are 14 years old, ensure that you have introduced Christ. Does that mean they will embrace salvation for the rest of their lives? Maybe not. Because Bible tells us you train them so that when they are old, they will not depart from it. Because potential for departing from it is there. When they are with me, obviously to go to church is a rule. Everyone in this, under my roof, will go to church. But there will come a time when they are no longer with you. They are in boarding school. They are at university. They are working far away from you. What is going to be the guiding rule for them to know how to conduct themselves around church life? Is because it was inculcated in them. And when they are choosing the freedoms that the world is giving them, they'll choose the freedom of worship. And they'll choose to worship God, the God that you worship, the God of their fathers. They will choose him. But if you leave that bare, they will not know what to choose. When they're older, philosophies, ideologies will be posted to them, and they will not know what to use to be able to choose which way they go in as far as their belief system is concerned. Dearly beloved, it is my pleasure to share with you my own journey with my children to the best of my ability. They are adults now. What I'm telling you, it was I have remembered. And I'm trusting God that people will share in the comment section. People will share the link. People, let's share this information so that our children are raised up well. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Please comment, share, subscribe. See you in the next video.